I'm recording, so we'll get started. I think a few more people might jump on, but I don't want to hold us up. So thanks everyone for jumping on tonight. I'm so excited to see all your beautiful faces and to hear from Katie, and she's gonna crush it. So Katie and I have so much in common. We connected, I don't know how long ago. I actually spoke on her coach's call. Yeah, I think that's when
we were living in London.
Yeah, I was living in London, and so Kelsey Pape, is that how you say? Oh, not Pape anymore.
It's Smith now, but yes, Kelsey Pape, Kelsey Smith.
Is her coach, and so I spoke on Kelsey's call, and then like she was like, "Oh my God, like we have so much in common, we need to connect." So we've been kind of chatting back and forth since then, and we finally met recently, and like had like this wow moment even further, and I was like, "Oh my God, like you're like a small miniature me, and it's crazy." So she was telling me about, like, I gave them a little bio, Katie, and like my team page, but you know, she's been a coach for about 2 years, and I'll let her tell her story too, but she kind of just had like this epiphany moment recently where it just like clicked for her, and she's just like thriving, and she's going to do Beachbody Classic now, and just like everything's connecting. And I was like, you have to speak on our call because I feel like so many people will be able to relate to her story. So welcome, girl. I'm so excited to have you, and I'll let you take it away now.
Okay, perfect. So I have to preface this. Heather wanted me to announce the fact that this is not my glowing face. I have this awesome selfie light. So if any of you want to look awesome in your pictures, this was $7.99 on Amazon, and I will send Heather the link because it's changed my life. Anyways, that's how I look like this, like angel. I don't know. Otherwise, I look like a homeless person. So anyways, yeah, so it was funny that I have to say this too. It's funny that Heather, asked me because I think of myself as like, I'm just an Emerald coach. Like, what do I have to say kind of thing. But she is right. I have had a huge shift in my business, and there's a lot of points to it as to how it happened, which is what I'm going to talk about tonight. So mainly my main topic is like how I went from being a serial half-asser to like a rocking business owner, because that's exactly who I was. But let me start a little bit about me. I'm from Maryland, and I connected with Kelsey, like she said, my coach. We worked together at a TV station. So I'm a news reporter now for a newspaper, and how I got into the business, I was in a terrible relationship. If any of you are friends on my Facebook, I'm very open about the fact that I went through terrible abusive relationships in the past, and I just hated myself on a lot of other stories. Didn't feel comfortable in your own skin. And I got introduced through Kelsey, obviously, since we worked together. We were on Facebook, and I was like, who is this girl that's always so positive? She's so annoying. Like, I can't stand it, because I wanted to be like that, and I wasn't. I was so so negative, but I wanted to be so positive like her. And I was just an all-around negative person. And so I decided, look, I was at my complete rock bottom. I barely had any money to even pay for, like everyone says, the $140 challenge pack, 21-day fix. And I was like in this place in my life where I was just completely at rock bottom. So I decided, look, I'm just going to go for it, gave it a shot, tried it. I even half-assed my first day of 21-day fix. I mean, I lost a couple pounds, but like I still ate whatever. And like, I was so mad, like, why is this not working? So, I mean, honestly, after even half-assing that, I talked to Kelsey, and Insanity Max 30 was coming out, and she was like, look, like, you're already posting on social media. You say you really want to change. I did Insanity in college, like I feel like everyone else did. Didn't obviously do it to its full extent. I did Insanity Max 30. It was January of 2015, and it was like, all right, this is it. I'm going to crush it. And I didn't cheat, and I did it for 60 days, and I lost almost 30 pounds. And since then, I've completely just dedicated my life to being healthy and fit and all these things that we obviously promote. And I was loving being a coach. I had really, really high highs where I was, hitting Success Club 12, 14, all these months. And then something would happen in my life. I mean, everyone's busy. I'm sure y'all know how life works. Something hits and then you're back down and you're giving yourself every excuse in the book as to why you can't do this and why you can't do that. And I would fall off for a couple months, and then I went to Summit, and then it was like, oh, I'm on fire. And I come back out of Summit and I'm like, I'm going to rock it. Like, let's do this. And then I would, and then holidays would come around. November would hit, next thing you know, I'm eating Christmas cookies for dinner. That's a true story, 8/12. And it was just always up and down. I was always up and down. And Kelsey probably wanted to just take me and shake me and be like, what is wrong with you? Because she always saw the potential in me. But the problem was I didn't necessarily, I think, see the potential in myself. So I'm just going to go over, I have a bunch of notes. I'm going to go over some of the points as to how I've been consistent. Over the past 4 months, doesn't seem like a long time, but for me it is. Over the past 4 months, I've consistently hit Success Club, and sometimes I've been down to the wire, and this month I hit it in 3 days. But the point is that I'm being consistent every day, and I'm showing up and I'm making it happen. And so the first thing I think that was a huge shift for me this year was the fact that Kelsey changed basically Success Club for us, and I have to give her the credit for that. We no longer have a Success Club board in our team. It is a Life Changers board. Number one, your challengers are more than points. And I know that people say that to you all the time, but it never clicked for me. I was always, you see all these people coming in and hitting all these crazy numbers. I mean, I had new people coming in. I've been in business for 2 years. I have new people come in and hit Success Club 20, and I'm like, I got to get points, points. And the problem with that is I wasn't building relationships. Therefore, I wasn't building consistency, and I wasn't building the potential leaders or the lifelong customers. So I started back to the basics and started building relationships and really listening to people's goals. That's the first thing I ask people. If someone messages me and asks me for a recipe, I don't just give it to them. I'm like, well, what's the, why? What are your goals? Are you trying to eat healthier? And I go from there, because no matter what the people are coming to you for, it may not end up in the challenge pack in that instance. They're coming to you because they have a goal in mind, whether that's learning to eat healthier, whether that's trying to gain, or lose 10 pounds or whatever it is, they have a goal. And so I started listening to those goals and thinking about, okay, well, what can I apply that I know to their life to get them there? And that seems super basic, but for me, I never got that until just recently. And the side note that I wanna say, this is one of the most important things I think that I'll probably say tonight, is when you get those goals from those people, using someone's goals to counter price is the best way that I've ever gotten yeses. If you use someone's goals to counter a price, is the perfect way to get a no to a yes. Someone comes to you and says, I'm trying to lose 30 pounds because I want to go outside and be able to run around with my kids, or I want to look good in my wedding dress, or whatever their goal is. The minute that you put a price out there, everyone knows. They're like, it's so expensive. Da, 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 da. We all know the value. They don't understand it yet. So I'm like, okay, well, I know it's a decent amount of money, and I give them the whole, well, it's $4 a day and all these things. But I'm like, that doesn't really resonate with them. The minute that you're like, well, you just told me that you really wanted to go outside and play with your kids and be able to run around or to rock it in your wedding dress. Can you really put a price on that? And that seems kind of harsh, but A, it's the truth, and B, they have no counter to that because they just told you what they wanted. And everything in life comes with a price. So that right there has been a game changer for me. I mean, honestly, a show of hands, how many people have said no the first time? I mean, I feel like a ton of us. I know I did. I said no a couple times. And the thing is if someone would have came back to you and been like, well, you just told me you want to lose 20 pounds, you would have been like, damn, she's right. So that's been a huge process for me to learn. I mean, I know that sometimes maybe that guess won't happen right away. Maybe they'll be like, okay, yeah, you're right, but let me think about it. I get that message the next day, most likely. It's really worked for me. I know that another thing too is I stopped focusing on persuading people to join me. I no longer persuade. Yes, we're here to try to let them know the opportunity. We know this opportunity is great. And yes, we want to share it with everyone. But if they're not ready and they're not willing, they're not going to succeed anyway. Even if we give them every tool in the world, if they don't want it, they're either going to join and they're going to fall off, or they're going to have that box sit in their living room for a year, whatever it is. They have to want to make the change. And the minute that I stop spending time on the wrong people to try to convince them that they should do this is the minute that I've realized, wow, there's so many people out there who do want to do this. And I've been spending my time in much better ways, more efficiently, and getting good challenges out of it. But if somebody does say no, they go on a list, as I'm sure everyone, a lot of people have no list. And I come back later. I do. I never write anybody off. I just no longer push. In the past, my challengers never succeeded. They were never engaged. I would have a challenge group and it would be crickets. I would be pulling teeth trying to get them. I would be throwing out prizes and all sorts of stuff. And nobody wanted to be there in the first place. And that's exactly why it didn't work. And now, I actually told Heather this story the other day. Last week, I've never had a challenge group like I have now. The women are answering each other before I can even get there and answer the question. I literally cried because I was like, this is it. Like this is happening. These people want to be there. They want to help each other. They know exactly what the purpose of an accountability group is. And that's why they came to me. And it's a great feeling. Yeah, it's the best feeling in the world. And I haven't had that until now. So challenge groups. The best thing that I've realized for my challenge groups is focusing on structure. Structure has been huge for me. Not only am I providing more information for them, but they also know when they can get a hold of me. So I'm sure a lot of you probably do prep week. If you don't do prep weeks, you really should be. Prep weeks have changed the game for me. I actually have a complete outline of every single thing that I post for a prep week. So Heather or anybody on here, get a hold of me if you want that, because it's a game changer. It gives them step-by-step every set of information they can need to set them up to succeed when the group starts. Okay, perfect. Yeah, Megan says she has one too. And mainly the purpose behind prep week is because obviously we know that, especially food, I mean, this is like, it's 80-20. I mean, we all know that nutrition counts for the most of it anyway. So it's just a great way, another way to set them up to succeed. The second part to my challenge groups, which I think is super important, is consistency when posting. Knowing that I basically post the same time every day. So it's like 9 a.m., like 12 p.m., 5 p.m. And basically when I do it this way, they know when they can expect to hear from me. And not only does that save, now that we have this app, there's no excuse, because you can literally go in there and set up everything. I went in and set up like 25 posts for the week. And they know when they're going to hear from me. It creates that consistency. They know when they should, be responding to me, that type of thing. It just builds that like business type relationship. And they know that I'm going to be there, and basically they can rely on me. And that same goes for like business hours. I no longer instantly respond to people. And I even tell my challengers, I'm like, this is when I'll be available. If I'll be available from like 4 to 7 Tuesday night, if you want to shoot me a text or, get on a call or, whatever, message me. I set business hours for myself because not only does it, again, give them that consistency, and they can know when they can get a hold of me, but then I no longer have that pressure of like, I need to answer this message or whatever. If someone messages me, I'm very clear at like, okay, well, I'm going to be working on Beachbody at this time, so, I'm gonna be working on my business at this time, so I'll get back to you then. I did the same thing with Heather. Heather's like, send me a document. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm working on Beachbody tonight. I'll get back to you then. Again, you can't expect to have a life outside of Beachbody. I have a full-time job. I'm a reporter. Like, I don't even know my hours for the day. So if you're another person that's not a full-time coach, you need business hours or you're going to go crazy. That's exactly what happened to me. Beachbody became work and a chore, and I hated it. And that's exactly why I was like on the verge of quitting. Because I definitely really wanted to. Yeah, even if you're not a full-time coach, everyone should have business hours because, again, it's a business. People, it's okay. I know when I first started coaching and having challenge groups, I just wanted to, answer really quick, and I wanted to, get those Success Club points. But again, it's not about the points. It's about really like listening to somebody. And if you're rushing through conversations and just responding, like, you're not going to build that relationship anyway. So twofold, you're stressed out. They're not getting the best of you. Set business hours, set consistency in your challenge groups, structure. You got it. The second part to it is, and I know we all do it, is to not overthink and not play the comparison game, which is easier said than done. We're all in different walks of life, and we all have our own stories, and some of us are, really high rank. Some of us are just starting out. The problem is that when you try to be like somebody else or post like somebody else or take pictures like somebody else or whatever it is, you're taking away from your authentic self, and you're not going to attract the right people that work for you because you're going to attract people that they're expecting somebody else. And if you ever want to build those lifelong customers or your tribe, if you're trying to build a business, they need to know who you are. And that's another reason why I constantly was, advancing rank and then dropping rank, or, I would have a customer for a couple months and then they would leave. It's because we didn't mesh. And it was because I was completely trying to be somebody else that I'm not. And so when they finally got to know me, it's not that we didn't like each other. I never had any issues. It just wasn't authentic because I wasn't being myself. We're all human and we all are flawed, and that's what makes us great. Because that's what makes us relatable. And we're not here to be these perfect, robots where we all have abs and we all eat, yeah, exactly. We all eat. Can't do a robot voice, but we all don't eat clean 100% of the time. And sometimes I have pimples on my face, and, everyone has their own way of doing things, but stay who you are. Stay true to who you are, because then you'll attract your tribe. For the past 4 months, I've recruited like-minded women that generally are my friends. They are literally people that I will go and meet up with them, and I could tell we would just hit it off instantly. And it's because I'm being myself, and they were brought to me for a reason. And whatever it is, I can give them something that maybe somebody else can't. Allow yourself, now, mind you, I'm a writer, okay? I'm a writer. I get paid to write for a living. Allow yourself to have grammar mistakes in your posts. Please, for the love of God. Because for me, I would go on and critique myself and try to make myself just have all these wonderfully written posts. I'm a writer, for Christ's sake. But then I go back and I read some of them and I'm like, wow, I was trying really hard. This does not look so great. And I was wondering, I can't even have words for it. It's no wonder nobody was coming to me, because I wouldn't want to come to me either if someone was so perfect all the time. And so take those selfies with no makeup. And if you use, it's one of my pet peeves, but if you use your instead of your, RE, whatever, just let it happen, because we're human, we're not all perfect. I'm a writer and I make mistakes. So again, just be authentically you. And again, I know you guys take 50 pictures at once, and I know you read your posts over and over, and I know you probably send it to somebody and be like, does this sound okay? I'm going to take a little advice from my one of my really good friends, Haley Christian. Her whole thing is don't be a bitch, just hit send. And I love it because if you're overthinking it or you're looking at your pictures or you are scrolling through your camera roll and you're trying to find like what smile looks the best, literally pick one, hit send, it's fine. Because again, you're being yourself, stop overthinking it. You probably wasted like 30 minutes doing a picture of yourself and you could have been finishing your power hour. So anyways, overall, basically all these small changes that I've like talked about will allow you to create a place for lifelong customers and successful coaches. I no longer worry about dropping rank or cancellation emails because I'm in the right place and it's fun again and it's not a chore. And I really honestly feel like, I don't know why it took me so long to get here, but all these things kind of seem like no-brainers, but for me, it never really clicked. I don't have too much left, Heather, but I am going to leave with some of these quotes. So I was listening to Tony Robbins. I know I saw some of your faces over at, Super Saturday in Boston. And I was listening to Tony Robbins like the whole way and the whole way back, which was like a 7-hour drive. So I had plenty of personal development for the day. But one of the things that he said, which like blew my mind, he said, information without emotion isn't stored. So I'm going to say it again. Information without emotion isn't stored. So for any of you who are going to Summit or sit through team calls or sit through national wake-up calls, if you're just sitting there writing notes and you're not really listening to what they're saying and you're not thinking about your why you're here, why did your challengers come to you, what are your goals? Like, what are your challengers' goals? What's your challenger stories? If you're not relating emotion to like what you're listening to what we're learning in these trainings, to what we do as Beachbody coaches, it's not going to work. And I don't know why that resonated with me so well. I don't know if it's blowing anyone else's mind, but for me, that just emotion relates to everything. You could probably think back to the minute that box arrived on your door, to your doorstep, because it's an emotion. It's an emotional feeling. You can remember, the first time that you stepped on the scale and it was, 5 pounds down, because you have an emotion attached to it. So get emotional, like get vulnerable, like talk to your challengers, like, your coach talked to you, and you will see a difference. Another thing that he said that I absolutely love is, execution trumps knowledge. So you can know everything under the sun, but if you don't implement it, it doesn't mean anything. And that was me. I was like, but I know all these things. I've been through all these trainings. I've been to Summit twice. Like, guys, this will be my 3rd Summit this year. Like, I've heard a lot of it. But I've never really implemented. I never executed for all the reasons why I was telling you before. I was obviously doing it for all the wrong reasons. But for whatever's holding you back, whether it's yourself or whether it's your fear or to be judged or whatever it is, you have to let it go and use the knowledge that you have to really get shit done if you want this to happen for yourself. One of the things that I thought was genius too, that me and Kelsey, my coach, had talked about, and I told Heather this too, is for the longest time I kept thinking, why am I getting in my way? Why am I getting in my way? Like, I don't understand. And her and I talked, and she's like, well, tell me about your life right now. And I'm like, I'm working as a reporter and I hate my hours. I don't hate what I do, but I hate my hours. I hate the fact that I go into work and I don't know when I'm going to leave and all these things. And she's like, well, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about your life? And I'm like, honestly, I don't feel so great. Like, I really wish it could change. And she's like, well, you have this opportunity right in front of you. Like, you saw me do it. Like, you see other people do it all the day. Like, why aren't you going for it? And she's like, you basically could go for it and, maybe it'll work, or you could just go back to your shitty life. You could quit and just go back to your shitty life. And to me, I was like, you know what? You're right. Like, I literally have nothing to lose. And that, for me, just clicked, because if I quit, I'm basically, if I quit, I'm saying a mediocre life is the life for me. And it's not. And I don't think that it's for any of you either, because you never would have became a Beachbody coach in the first place if you wanted mediocrity in your life. So for me, it's using all of these things and just going for it and just being authentically you. You have nothing to lose. So that's that. That's all I got.
Thank you so much. That was so great.
Sorry, I was talking kind of fast, but.
Oh, actually, I feel like I talk like 10 times faster. So no, I think that was really great. And I think there's so much like relatable topics that you spoke to. And I love like the get emotional things. I know we talked about that a bit. And I feel like I've been thinking a lot about like, what am I missing right now? Like with my inviting. And I feel like, shit, like 3 years into this, do I not know how to invite anymore? Can I not help people anymore? Because I just feel like I'm not getting the engagement that I really am looking for.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it comes down to the emotion. Like, I feel like I'm not talking about that enough. And it's not even that I'm not talking about it. Like, I'm not getting people to like tell me, like, I feel like I'm asking the questions, like, why do you want to do this? Like, how is it going to make you feel? And like, they just don't get back to me. So it's like, I realize like that's a missing part, and I need to maybe ask in different ways, or like go about it in a different way where I get them to kind of be vulnerable with me and feel comfortable with me.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing that's kind of changed for me too is to get them to open up, is because in the past, like, someone would message me and I'd be like, what are your goals? And they would be like, I want to lose 20 pounds. And I'm like, oh, well, I have this program and I have this shake, it'll all help. I'm like, you know what? I know exactly how you feel. I literally tell them, I'm like, I know exactly how you feel. Like, I remember stepping on the scale and seeing that number and being like, what the F did I do to myself? And the fact that they know that like I may be here where I am now, and and I shared very good at sharing transformation photos and things like that, but nothing is better than that conversation, even if it's over Facebook Messenger. That validation of like, it's okay to basically be where you are. And like, I always tell them that I'm proud of them for coming to me. Because even if they don't buy a challenge pack, it was really fucking scary, excuse my French. It was really scary for them to send you that message and to tell them to get super vulnerable and for them to say, I need help. Because I have a lot of people that are like, I've been watching you for a long time. Like, that, literally, I had a girl like, this is my cry for help. And I'm like, it just like, I have like goosebumps talking about it, because it's just amazing. And I just get so proud that the fact of like, at least they're acknowledging the fact, it's like, God, it's just like recovery. It's like the first, admit you have a problem. It's the same thing. It's just like, admit that you need help, admit that you want it better for yourself. So that's something that I always tell people too, is that I'm proud of them, whether they end up buying from me or not, because I think it's awesome that they, at least, whether they even go and try something different, I think it's just awesome that they are taking that step, because there's so many people that don't.
Yeah. I guess what I think you're doing amazing, what you spoke to, which is now like so clicking with me, is like how you said about like Summit. Like, every time you go to Summit, every time you go to a Beachbody event, you're like, oh my God, you're on cloud nine. It's like so easy to talk about your passion for it and everything. Yeah, especially when you first start coaching too. And I feel like this is like maybe the rut I've been in, and I feel like other people can probably relate, is I've been a coach for 3 years now, and like part of me forgets where I was when I started. Like, I don't forget, but you know what I mean? It's not so close to me at this point that like it's not as easy to remember when I'm talking to someone on a daily basis. Like, I forget to like share my story more and to take myself back to how I felt. Like, when you were saying when I got that box, like literally I was in such a bad place. Like, that box was everything to me. Like, I didn't say no when Elizabeth and I spoke. It took me 10 minutes to say yes, because this was my cry for hope. Like, I saw this as like my way of changing. Like, it was the only thing that I was relying on to get myself to where I wanted to be. So it was so emotional for me. And I don't know, I guess I'm so disconnected from that emotion because it's been so long. And it's like not even like I'm where I want to be yet, but I don't know. I think that that's really speaking to me. So like, I'm so happy you brought it up tonight because I feel like it's helping me to like get back to that place.
Absolutely. I think that everyone, I literally, and whether you're great at posting this or not, I challenge everyone to make a post about the day you got that box. Because even though we know Beachbody is way more than just a box, we know it's about a community. I mean, I did my hashtag I am Beachbody on this, but like, we know it's more. We know it's a community. We know it's this thing, but it still started with that little box that you got. And who knew that this entire community came out of that box? And I think that everyone should have posts like that. So that would be my little homework assignment for you guys, is to make that when I got the box delivered post.
Yeah. No, I love that so much. It's like, I'm going to post about it tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions or comments or anything? Great.
Looks like Lindsay was going to say something, but I guess not. I know she's in Starbucks. Oh. Yeah, the quotes were really great. I love ending with quotes too. I think that's really positive. It like helps everyone to leave with something that they can put emotion to. I think that was really fantastic.
Yeah, Tony Robbins is great. Like I said, I literally listened to him for like 7 hours in the car, so I felt like I was like invincible as I was like driving from Boston to Maryland. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the information without emotion isn't stored is like everything to me now. So
how much do you think the personal development has been in like a part of your journey as far as like this new change?
Yeah, that's one thing that I didn't mention that I know you and I had talked about. Definitely personal development. I know everyone preaches it. I think the thing that really changed for me in regards to personal development that helped with my business is I no longer was just reading what everyone else is reading. Because a lot of the times, again, we want to do the comparison game. Everyone's reading You Are a Badass, so let's all read. Not that I freaking love that book. I'm just saying, like, we all, even like, you know, when we get coaches to come on our team, we just throw all these personal development books at them and we're like, yeah, read these. The problem is that we're not picking the right ones for us. And that's why they're not working. That's why you don't want to read them. That's why you aren't connecting. It's why you're not making that even 10 minutes to read, you know, however many pages, is because you're just picking what everyone else is picking. There's a lot of really good resources. Actually, Natalie Bailey, Misfit Legion, she shared this huge like kind of document that has for like kind of like books for like what you're looking for. So if anyone on the team, Heather, if you want me to share it with you, I will. And it like, I'm sure you can even go on Google or Pinterest or wherever, but whatever you're struggling with, you really need to pick a book. Like for me, I have the worst anxiety in the world. I am constantly worrying about, and that's probably held me back in my business a lot too. I was constantly worrying about things that are out of my control. And I get so anxious that I literally would just cry because I don't know how to handle it. And I started reading Universe Has Your Back, and I'm forever changed. And I never really believed in any of that kind of stuff. I was like, oh, this hippie meditation bullshit or whatever. And honestly, like this morning I woke up. I didn't even do Universe Has Your Back, but I woke up, you know, and I did my workout. And then like kind of as my food was like kind of getting ready and my coffee was brewing, I sat down and I did, if anyone's ever heard of Headspace, it's a meditation app and it's just 10 minutes. And I sat there and I did it. And whatever works for you, whatever it is, whatever gets you to that spot where you just feel like at peace or calm, that's what I would suggest doing, because it's a great way to start your day. Because I can remember the days of when I used to like get up and like, you know, rush out the door and like have 2 different shoes on and like, you know, grab a Red Bull or whatever to like make it through the day. Like that used to be my life. And now like I have like this routine. And again, setting business hours for myself helps in the personal development. But I would say definitely picking something that relates to whatever issue you're having in your life. So if anyone does have anxiety, or even just really honestly is kind of second guessing their place in the world, like I know I've done several times, Universe Has Your Back is amazing, and I definitely do recommend it to anybody. But if anyone wants that list from Natalie, I will share that. Also, I know that you and I talked about, if you're not a reader, me and Heather both want to be readers. Yeah, definitely reread it. I actually got the audiobook. And I used to think like, oh, I'm such a cheater because I had this audiobook. But honestly, like, if you have a busy day, it's a perfect way. Like, you can be cooking breakfast and like listening, or in your car and listening. Obviously, don't do the meditations routines, obviously, in your car. But, it's just as good. Podcasts, all those things. Tony Robbins has a great podcast. But definitely find something that is relatable to you. I think after I get my anxiety under control, I'm going to do Eat That Frog, because time management is something that I'm trying to really get a hold of too. So Heather, you were going to say something.
No, thank you. That's great. I was going to say, we have a documented circle that has circled around similar, but I would love to see the other one anyway. It's like slightly like set up different, or if there's more books on there. So.
It might be. It might have came from Drop the Cookie, but I can send it to you and you can see if it's
awesome. Yeah, that'd be great. Well, thank you. I don't want to keep anyone too much longer, but this was so great. Thank you so much for jumping on.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I feel so honored and so exciting.
You're so welcome. Thank you for taking the
time. I feel like it was the perfect time for me, because it's like validation of like I'm doing the right thing, So I definitely feel good about it. So thank you guys.
Absolutely. We love you, girl. And I'm definitely going to share this with the rest of the team, because I know it's going to help them so much. So.
Yay. Okay. Well, you guys have an awesome evening.
You too, hon. I'll talk to you
soon.
Bye. Love you guys.
Bye.